Now here is, I'm not going to read the names of the questioners because they probably don't want. So the question here is, spirituality and professional careers exert opposing forces on the mind. While the former helps still the mind, the latter stirs it and churns it. How do we balance the two? So keep our spiritual journey moving forward while advancing our career forward at the same time. Obviously, the person is seriously interested in meditation, but is worried that if I go too much into meditation, I might miss out on my career. Well, believe me, you don't have to give up your career, unless your career is butchery or something like that, or murdering people or something, then you need to give up this career. Otherwise, if it's like a normal career, like any other, you please continue with your career. Start practicing your meditation every day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and continue with both. And you'll find actually that you perform more efficiently your work when you learn how to meditate. It's not the other way around. Unless at some point you're on a spiritual high and you don't want anything to do with this, but that is a rare occurrence. Plus, this is something to remember. Don't mistake laziness and inertia for meditation. This is what happens usually. I meditate and then I become lazy and I see all this is career, what's going on and so on. But I don't want to leave it because finally my loaf of bread comes from there. Not only a loaf of bread, also by BMW. So I don't want to give up, but then there is this mind. This is because when the mind becomes quiet in meditation, if it is becoming quiet, then there is a tendency of the mind to slip away into laziness. This is to be avoided. Then both of them can be worked simultaneously. This is mistaking what is called sattva guna and tamo guna to be the same. According to the science of, according to the Sankhya philosophy, every mind, all of us, you and me, have three important attributes or gunas in us. They're called sattva, rajas and tamogunas. And they work in different ratios in different people. Some have more of this, some have less of this, but everybody has them. And tamoguna is like inertia, laziness. There are some people who cannot go to sleep at night without having caused some kind of problem to somebody. There are such people. It's nothing to them, but they just... or if they see somebody wearing a beautiful dress, they always try to find out what's wrong with that, not what's good with that. So there are such... This is because there is a predominance of tamoguna. Then laziness, inertia, I don't want to do it. And procrastination, postponing things forever. This is what you call tamoguna. Now, sattva guna is the tranquility and peace and restfulness of mind that comes through goodness and through meditation. They appear same sometimes, laziness and sattva, but they're not the same. In sattva, when you are in the sattva guna, you want to do good things, not cause harm to others. And your mind is quiet, but it's not lazy. One has to distinguish between the two. It's light and it's floating. It's not heavy and sinking. So, very often we misunderstand these two. This is where the problem comes. Otherwise, there is no problem. Carry on with your life, you can do your meditation, you can go into the spiritual field, you can also contribute to your world. And I think The century that we are passing through now is perfectly suited for this, and this is what we should be doing. The time, the age when one ran off to the caves to meditate does not exist anymore. We need jean-clad yogis now. I'm not saying you should wear jeans, but what I'm trying to say is that in everyday life you should function and at the same time move spiritual. This is what we need at present. So please don't have any worry about this. You can do both. And by doing both, well, I know there is an old saying, thou canst not serve God and mammon. But in this century you have to serve both. And carry on with it. Do dreams have any significance or meaning? For example, I had a vivid dream of being in a temple of a goddess which I have never seen before. Later I came to know that it was Linga Bhairavi. Is there any meaning to a dream like this? Now, this is a very big subject. It's a complete trying to discuss the whole of your subconscious mind. Anyway, since you asked me the question, I'm going to go into it a little bit. The rest you can go in or read one of these wonderful writers and probably figure out a lot. Sometimes you have dreams which never become a reality. They always remain dreams. Sometimes you have a dream which you later see as an actuality after some time. We would call such a dream an intuitive dream. This is because in your physical state you are limited by space and time. But in the dream state there is no limitation of space and time. How? In my normal state, I cannot fly. Physically, I can in an aeroplane, but I can't fly. But in the dream, I fly. Because I have a desire to fly, but I cannot fulfill it in my physical body. Therefore, the dream is a state which is with us so that we can experience many of the things which we cannot experience with our physical body in the dream state. One. Sometimes also it happens that actually we, according to our understanding, apart from the physical body, we also have a subtle body, which in the textbooks on this subject, it's called the Shushma Sharira, the subtle body. I'm deliberately avoiding the word astral body because it's a much bandied about word. So most people who talk about don't know a thing about it, but let's say subtle body, Shushma Sharira. It's a fact that when you sleep, every one of us leaves the physical body and moves around in the subtle body. And many a time, if you might have in your subtle body gone to a temple, which you have never seen before. And then when you see it, this is the one I saw. Possibilities. I'm just giving you the possibilities. And this is unconscious usually. Dreams are also fulfilling of your desires which you cannot fulfill in waking state. Your imagination and so on and so forth. So when I sleep at night and wake up in the morning and say I had this peculiar dream, it's usually a mixture of a conglomerate whole of both traveling in my subtle body and also my mind's desires which needs to be fulfilled, put together. It's all messed up, so you can't really separate them. But the yogi knows ways and means by which he can deliberately distinguish between the two and also perhaps leave his body and come back when required. So maybe you saw the temple really, or perhaps it's part of your mind. I can't say this for sure because you were the one who saw it, not me. But all these possibilities are open. That if you know how to work with a dream, you can make it a reality. I'm not only talking about night dreams, but also day dreams. The whole thing is that if you visualize something in complete detail, it might turn out to be real after a while. But controlled and properly done imagination is a potent weapon, is a potent energy that you possess. We all have that. The idea of visualizing. But it shouldn't be uncontrolled. You know what happens? Uncontrolled imagination is dangerous. Most of these are quite practical questions. How can we go beyond the need to prove our worth to other people, or looking for validation or approval from others in today's world of tests, evaluations, performance, reviews and so on? How do we do it? Somebody's asked me this question. First let me say this, I don't look for any evaluations myself. So can you. Do your work to perfection. Don't worry about what other people are evaluating. Even if you have to go for a test or somebody is evaluating, don't go there thinking that, oh, I'm going to be evaluated. Go there thinking that I'm going to do my best. Forget about that. Instead of competition and wasting time on wondering and worrying about what happens if the other guy does better than me, fix your attention on what you're doing. It will turn out to be good. This is my advice. In fact, there's a beautiful statement in the Gita describing the yogi. Yogi need not mean one who is always sitting there. Yogi means one who can live in this world intelligently, who can live. A karma yogi is one who can navigate himself in this world where sometimes the currents are rough and sometimes they're smooth. He is able to navigate because he has an anchor which he can drop when he wants and pull it out when he wants. The art of actually negotiating life is karma yoga. So when a yogi does that, such a yogi, which actually means the word yogi can be substituted for an ideal human being. Gita says that such a person, very interesting, tulya nindastu tirumani. Said the Muni is one, the yogi or the perfect man is one, perfect woman is one, who doesn't live on this earth depending upon what others think about you. In fact, for the yogi, insult and praise are on the same footing. He's not concerned about that. He does what he wants to do. Well, in a way, you can draw many lessons from politicians. They don't care, they do what they have to do. So the yogis are similar, but not that. Because otherwise you can't move forward in this world. If you always think, what is the other guy thinking of? So, and especially, it's sometimes good to encourage insult, questioning, then praise. Because if constantly somebody keeps praising you and you begin to believe that, then you move nowhere. How many people know Hindi here? Oh. There's a beautiful Lata Mangeshkar song, Meethi Meethi Baaton Se Bachna Zara. Because praise and flattery can actually retard your progress. While somebody says, hey, you're not doing it right, it's a good thing for you. Consider it as a teaching. Somebody pointing it out to you, you're going wrong. And don't consider it as something negative. If you can keep this balance, then you can still live in this world and carry on with life. Okay, suppose, you know how our lives are? They're like, somebody praises me, then I'm on cloud 9. Not me, I'm on cloud 9. And somebody pulls your leg, then you feel depressed, you're down. Depression is a very important word now. People are always depressed, like the depression in the bay. So, can we live without depending on what others say? Who cares what others say? Let's do what we have to do. So, suppose you criticize me, you call me a fool. What I should think is, maybe I'm a fool. I was trained well. My teacher, Maheshwarnath Babaji, if somebody calls you a fool, he said, why are you getting agitated? Go and look at the mirror, you might be a fool. Yeah, so if I'm a fool, then I need to become intelligent. It's a nice way of finding out where you stand. But suppose you say I'm a fool and I don't know English, what happens to me? Nothing. Well, because I have understood the meaning of the word that I'm affected by it. You say fool, and I think, if I know only Hindi, I might think you're saying fool. I'm a flower. Really? It's a question of language. It doesn't mean anything really. So, while criticism should be welcome, it need not make you depressed. And while praise comes to you, handle it carefully. Don't get carried away. If one can manage this, then you can live in this world and carry on with your life. You no longer are at the mercy of other people's opinions. Yeah? From today. What time do we have? We have 5 minutes more and there are 60 questions. Dear sir, please tell me what do I need to do in order to get your guidance in difficult times? How can I attune with you and make sure that you're hearing my prayers and helping me? I'm not sure if I can call upon you one-pointedly, but being compassionate can still be receptive of any calls for help. Okay, first let me tell you this. My idea is to make you independent of me, to stand on your own feet. Having said that, I know that people are in different stages of evolution, different stages of development, so they do need help. I understand that. Now it's not always possible to be physically by your side to get help. This is also understood. But whenever physical availability is there, one can get some kind of help. It may not be verbal, but there is some help coming. Well, if you ask me the question, when you're not there, what shall I do? Well, there are a couple of things you can do. One is email me. I don't like telephones much, but you certainly can email me or WhatsApp me. Okay. Having said that, we come to the next part, which is, if you really sometime fix a time and sit down and say, look, I need help I'm thinking of you, I'm sending some thoughts to you, please help me out. If you do that regularly, well, I can't guarantee I'll get it all the time, but certainly sometime. And if I get this, I will certainly try to take those thoughts and roll them up nicely, polish them and send them back to you. It's possible. But don't expect it to happen foolproof all the time. Could happen, may not happen due to various circumstances. I may be thinking of something else, I may be distracted. I mean, not distracted in a bad way, but not thinking about you. Things like that. But this possibility is there. And don't keep... Now here is the secret of thought. Don't keep sending a thought again and again to somebody or somewhere, thinking that you need to persist, otherwise it won't go and so on. There's nothing like that. If you really want to send a thought to somebody, especially one who can receive it, just send it once and forget about it. And how do you send it? Think that you're placing this little thought here in the middle of your forehead, and like a dart you hit, send, and forget about it. Get up and go. If you keep sending it again, it may not reach the goal, it may fall flat. This is one of the secrets of thought. And if you need to send a thought, it's always good to think of the thought going in like a cone with the point in front, rather than the other way around. And that's more receiving than giving. In fact, yogis say that there are two centers. This is the sending center and this is the receiving center. So it's like a broadcasting radio, some. So, well, you can do that, but be practical about it. If possible, as much as possible, send an email. And if you don't get a reply to the email, don't think that someone hasn't got the email. Email has been received, work is being done. Maybe you don't get a physical reply, maybe not, maybe yes, but something is going on. Have that much confidence. Didn't you write this for me? Yeah. So, we need to now wind up. What's that? She's showing something. Huh? What's that?
Another question, but there's
Already there are several questions which I couldn't answer. There is no time. So if I add one fresh, it's not fair to these questions. Right? Is she saying? What's that?
She's saying if everyone is okay, would you take her question?
Are you going out? Okay. I don't want to disappoint you. What if you curse? This is your address?
Yeah, listen. Question is on the
Oh. I thought she's saying, find me. A temple. What's that in the bracket after temple? Nothing. Jain. At the temple, sometimes I feel seeing the deity. That's all I want. Grace and complete devotion and deity for the moksha path. Then realization occurs that I am still alive. I'm a human being, I have to live in the world, and so do worldly things. What to do? And what get deity in the dreams. Okay. Now if you go up to the Jain temple upstairs, what deity do you have there? So you have all the Tirthankaras, some of them, of the Jains. Now, do you know that according to Jain teachings, there is no concept of Ishvara or a creator God? Yes? So, but still people worship the Tirthankaras because we need something to worship. Even though we say there is no such thing, we still need to worship. So what do you worship in the Tirthankaras? The purity of their lives. Because according to the teachings of the Tirthankaras, when the human mind or the soul becomes purified, it is free of all bondage and then it reaches nirvana. This is the teaching. So it doesn't matter whether there is a creator, there is no creator. That's not the question. The question is that the soul is, innumerable souls are immortal souls and they're bound because of desires and various things, and they have to be released from that till they attain moksha. This is the thing. Okay. Moksha cannot be attained in 1 day or 2 days. The idea that moksha can occur, but it cannot actually become a reality in a couple of days. If you read the lives of your Tirthankaras, you will find that they have worked hard for many years to get there. Okay. So my suggestion to you is don't overreach too much. You pray to the Tirthankaras as deities. You find some little peace in your heart. Keep it up and carry on with your life, keeping in mind that one day I will become a jina, a free being. Keep this in mind and do the best that you can. You know what I'm trying to say? Don't overreach yourself. Be rooted to the ground. Be practical. Right. So, thank you very much. Maybe we meet again sometime. Om Shanti Shanti.